My name is John. My last name is Zottola. I'm a judge in the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County. I've been a judge for approximately 21 years. And I want to talk a little bit about problem-solving courts. Some of the examples of problem-solving courts are drug court, mental health court, veterans court. In Allegheny County, we also have a DUI court and a prostitution court. Now, you wonder, why would a county want to engage in having a problem-solving court? Well, let's talk about it in a couple of different ways. Why? Well, one, it's the right thing to do. The counties, and we're all realizing that the catch and release, the arrest and the rearrest of an individual doesn't make a lot of sense. So it's the right thing to do. Two, these problem-solving courts save money. The legislature created Allegheny County's mental health court. And by the way, it started in 2001. I supervised it for approximately 6 years, and it's up to almost 400 individuals. Our veterans court, which started in 2009, started with 2 individuals. We have over 60 individuals at this point, graduating 40 in the past 2 years. So the legislature, having funded mental health courts, said, well, let's find out how much it costs our taxpayers to pay for these problem-solving courts, because they are the right thing to do. Well, they had the RAND Corporation do a study of Allegheny County's mental health court. It was the first private think tank study of a public problem-solving court. And they determined that over a 2-year period of time, it saved Allegheny County's taxpayers $3.6 million. So it's the right thing to do, it saves money, and they work. Our internal recidivism rates, the last time we checked with respect to mental health court, was less than 15%. In veterans court, it is less than 2% in terms of recidivism, where 60% is typically the norm. Now, problem-solving courts are non-traditional approaches to criminal justice system. If you're familiar with the traditional approaches you may see on Law and Order or a show like that, there are 2 parties that are advocating their position, and the judge sits at the top of this triangle making a determination. It's a vertical approach to criminal justice, or to justice itself. That's the traditional approach. The problem-solving court is a non-traditional approach. It takes a team approach to the resolution of the matter. And the judge is a speed bump in that team if a resolution cannot be reached. Now, this is a completely different approach, and some judges will tell you that they are not in favor of problem-solving courts because it's a non-traditional approach to criminal justice. I have to tell you a couple of things. I've been on the bench for over 20 years, and I've presided over death penalty cases. I've presided over high-profile cases. I've presided over many, many cases. The most rewarding thing for me has been as a problem-solving court judge, where I can watch someone regain their lives and walk out of the courtroom, not in handcuffs, but walk out in the embrace of their family. For me, that's been the most rewarding thing that I've been able to do as a judge in the Court of Common Pleas. Let me read you a couple of different terms that reflect what a problem-solving court would be as opposed to a traditional court. And I'll just give you a few examples. A traditional process is dispute resolution. Problem-solving court is problem-solving dispute avoidance. The traditional system is adversarial. Problem-solving courts are collaborative. I'll give you an example of a judge. A judge is an arbiter in a traditional approach. And I might be dating myself when I give this description of what a judge is in a problem-solving court, because I think the first problem-solving court was night court. I don't know if you all remember night court with Judge Harry. That is what often a problem-solving court judge does, because you are a coach, you're a social worker, you're a cheerleader, you're a case manager or a risk manager, you're a member of a treatment team or therapy team, you're a listener, a translator, and a lead actor in a courtroom drama. That really is the difference between the 2 approaches. In addition to, and for those of you that know me, when I get up and I speak, I sometimes go all over the place. It's almost a stream of consciousness kind of approach, but I try and get to where I need to be at the end. So forgive me if I go off track a little bit. In addition to being involved with the mental health court and Veterans Court in Allegheny County, I'm a member and actually one of the founding members of the Mental Health and Justice Advisory Committee within the Commission on Crime and Delinquency in Pennsylvania. And magic, as we call it, because it really is magic which is taking place, is a collaboration between 2 unlikely entities, criminal justice and human services. And that committee was formed in 2009, and the secretary was one of our founding members on that committee also. And it's doing a lot of interesting things. For example, we identified quite early that two areas that we need to be involved in terms of the MAGIC committee were one, housing, which is extremely important for those that are coming back from the criminal justice system, and two, crisis intervention training or specialized police response training. And we funded those projects as well as created a center of excellence, which is a collaboration between Drexel University in the East and Western Psych here in the West that's involved in training the counties with respect to the criminal justice issues and the mental health issues. So that MAGIC committee has been in existence for that period of time, and it continues to do a lot of great work. As I indicated, a problem-solving court takes a team approach. Let me go through some of the members of the team with respect to a problem-solving court. One, you have the judge, that's me. And talking about saving money, our Veterans Court's been in existence since 2009, and the tax dollars that have been expended in addition to what would be necessary to get the court started are zero. Everyone volunteers their time to make the court go as smoothly and effectively as it is. As I indicated, we graduated 40 in the past 2 years. Two, the district attorney is a member of the team. The district attorney in most of these courts is the gatekeeper. They decide which cases come in and which cases do not come in. In Allegheny County, our court has been so effective that the only cases that are excluded from mental health and veterans court are homicide and serious sex offense. Everything else comes in because it's so effective of a court. The other team member is the defense partner. For mental health court, it's the public defender. For veterans court, we've done something that I don't believe is going on anywhere else in the country, and that is we have formed a partnership with Duquesne University School of Law to have certified law students represent our veterans. They are supervised by an attorney, and there's nothing, let me put it, we were all young in doing our jobs. When you're young and you're hungry. And these law students are young and hungry and effectively represent the veterans. That's one thing. Two, it's at no cost to the taxpayers. And Duquesne received recognition as being the 6th most innovative program with respect to a clinic in the country as a result of what they're doing in Veterans Court. And they're doing something that I'm not sure is done by any other program, and they are involving, as part of the training, the hearing voices piece. And Diana Hoke here, who's here from the VA, trained those law students into hearing voices, which is kind of like the specialized police response training. They wear earphones. The earphones simulate for them what it would be like for a person hearing voices. Then in addition to them hearing voices, they have to go through some daily tasks to be able to realize what it would be like for someone that is hearing voices. And it gives a greater empathy, and for that reason, the law school was awarded that recognition. Another member of the team is our Human Services in Allegheny County, as well as a probation officer and a Veterans Justice Outreach worker, someone from the VA who comes in and determines whether someone has benefits and provides the treatment that's necessary for the individual that is in Veterans Court. Additional team members of a Veterans Court team are the mentor. Now, I can get the veteran to follow my instructions because I'm wearing a black robe, and if he or she knows if I say, "Deputy, take him away," that's what's going to happen. Well, if I'm not wearing that black robe, and if I've not been in the service, that veteran is not going to pay any attention to me. So we have mentors. Mentor is another veteran who's been there, done that, and can really provide that encouragement to make sure the veteran gets through the program. The other members of the team are the Veterans Leadership Program, which is a nonprofit organization, as well as as I indicated, Human Services. The key to an effective mental health or problem-solving court or veterans court is trust. There must be trust from the Human Services or Veterans Justice Outreach worker that if they report a behavior problem, or if they report someone is using, that the DA is not going to immediately ask for the person to be incarcerated, or the probation is not going to immediately ask for them to be incarcerated. It goes the same way. Probation and the DA are going to expect that the Human Services worker or the Veterans Justice Outreach worker are going to report if someone missteps, so that we can be able to bring that person back and be able to effectively help them or shepherd them through the court. Problem-solving courts are based on diversion. And there are different ways where someone can be diverted in the criminal justice system. The first is with the police. That's at the first level of diversion. The police that are trained in specialized police response training, or maybe mental health first aid, or maybe mental health first aid with respect to the veterans component, are able to, in many instances, recognize at the scene that this is a situation that may require, still with an eye toward public safety, may require a different approach to diverting that person out of the system. The second level of diversion is in the jail or at the magisterial level. For example, Philadelphia, in their veterans court, diverts at the preliminary hearing level. The third is where we divert in Allegheny County for most of our problem-solving courts, and that's in the Court of Common Pleas. The fourth level of diversion is reentry, someone coming back that's been incarcerated and is coming back into the community. Want to make them as strong as they can be as they return to the community. And the fifth level of diversion is on probation in the community itself. So the focus is on diverting people, getting them out of the criminal justice system. Criteria for eligibilities for these courts, as I've indicated, you've got to be 18 or over. All crimes, with the exception of homicide and serious sexual offenses, are reviewed for admission into the courts. The process, in terms of the actual resolution of the matter, is that 99% of these cases are resolved by a plea, typically a plea agreement. There are instances where you can have a non-jury trial, but that really rarely happens. And then we go through the court process. And the court process is that we have review sessions to determine whether the person, as they're progressing through the system, has a positive review, a negative review, or a neutral review. Positive review, more positive, gets you closer to graduation. A negative review means we have to begin to look at sanctions with respect to the individual. So we have those sessions where we talk about each of those cases outside of the presence of the individuals. Then we go into court and we have our hearings with respect to the cases. So it's, in a way, a scripted result that everyone is on the team has the same idea as to what's going to take place. So those are the different type of hearings we have with respect to the courts. For Veterans Court, we have three phases. We have honor, courage, and commitment are the three phases that someone passes through as they go through Veterans Court. Again, not being a veteran, I didn't realize some things that would be important to veterans. When someone goes through let me ask here, do we have veterans or people that have served in the armed services? Okay. I didn't realize that a dog tag was important. When someone goes from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3, we give them a dog tag to commemorate them having progressed from that phase. And then we give them a challenge coin. They've accomplished something when they graduate. We give them that challenge coins. Those are things that have been advised to us by members of the military that are important to veterans. And it's real important that we have that input, and we do really appreciate the input from the veterans that are part of our team. The conditions of a sentence with respect to Veterans Court or mental health court are a service plan. A service plan is put together by Human Services or by the Veterans Justice Outreach Worker, and the veteran or the person in mental health court is expected to follow that service plan. That might be to comply with all aspects of treatment. There are different parts of a detailed service plan that they must comply with. There might be drug screens, there might be anger management, things of that nature that are part of the requirements to be in veterans or in mental health court. Let me cut to the chase here in terms of perhaps what some of the successes have been with respect to mental health and veterans court, and that's the numbers of people that we've been able to divert, the number of people that we've been able to remove from the criminal justice system, remove from having to be, unfortunately, in a place like this. So that's really been one of the successes. The challenges, as the numbers of people that come into the court grow, so do the staffing needs and things of that nature. So we're working on the challenges and trying to be able to get as many people diverted as we can from the criminal justice system. That was just a bird's eye view of the problem-solving courts, and I appreciate your time being here, because we're all here for the same reason, and that is trying to help people regain their lives and make our community a better community. Thank you very much.